Hi everyone, and welcome to my first episode on YouTube. My name is Alejandro De Leon. I am the owner of De Leon Media. I am a filmmaker, been filmmaking for 4 years, located in Washington State, Pacific Northwest. I got involved in filmmaking my very first time when I shot a free wedding for my wife's best friend. Shout out to them for letting me film that first wedding. I actually shot that wedding for free for them just to see, if it was a thing for me or not. So, I filmed the wedding, I edited it, I put it together, we invited them over to the house, and I looked over at them, as they were watching the movie, and I didn't think they were gonna like it. I was like, oh man, you got that imposter syndrome building. As the video progressed, right, I could see their emotions, the emotion in their eyes, their watery eyes, and I was like, you know what, I think this is for me. Lo and behold, a month later, I actually got my first paid wedding. I shot that one for very cheap because it was my first one now, right, paid. It was my first wedding ever, and it was like, did I do this right? Did I do this right? But she really loved it, and that gave me the full confidence that just telling me, hey, this is what I want to do. Fast forward a year later, or fast forward a couple months, and we hit COVID, and well, nothing happened, right? So my son was born, and like anybody else, any new parent, and you can talk to anybody, your mind kind of starts spiraling, and you're trying to figure out, how am I going to take care of this family that I just started? And I thought to myself, okay, maybe I do want to go all in on wedding filmmaking. So that led me to going all in, right? And for me, I feel like this is the best way that I can explain to everybody is I went out to Best Buy and I touched a Nikon camera, I touched a Canon camera, and I touched a Sony camera. The feeling it was one thing, going through the menu was another thing, and then Nikon was Now, I'm not saying Nikon was bad. All I want to know is that, and I don't want to say that any other one is bad because it comes down to preference, right? So I touched Nikon and the menu, it just wasn't for me. It wasn't clicking. I touched Canon and the menu was kind of crazy for me, and I was like, no, this is not for me. Then I touched Sony, and then Sony, oh man. The user interface was a lot of pages, but it clicked. Something clicked, and it made a lot of sense. A lot of it was just white noise, and you only have to know what you're gonna use, right? So I went on about the camera, right? And then as I was walking by it, I saw a 24mm G Master lens, and I thought to myself, wow, that's a really nice lens. Again, new father and new responsibilities and new financial situations, right? So I got the lens. Didn't even tell my wife about it. Let's just say, long story short, I was able to pay off the lens. And then I told my wife, I was like, hey, remember that one time I went to buy a camera? Well, I bought this lens, and it cost a lot of money, but I paid it off. It only took me 2 months. Crazy, right? So I got the A6400, right, and the 24mm G Master lens, and I'm actually using that right now to record myself. And then I was like, okay, I have a wide lens, sort of a wide lens. Now I need something a little bit with tighter focal length, right? So I started scouring YouTube just like anybody else would, and I was like, I came across this one that we call a Nifty 50, or Nifty 50, right? So I was like, that's for me. And so I was like, okay, this isn't bad. Okay, so now I had 2 lenses to start off. So in 2021, I actually shot a couple more weddings, and they loved it, and I was extremely happy. I was like, cool, I'm gonna really launch this now. It's a 6400 24mm G Master lens, a 50 1.8 cheapo lens, 200, but hey, you got the job done for me, right? I guess so. You're probably wondering at this point, what kind of editing software I use? Well, I use Final Cut Pro. I tried to use Premiere Pro, but that user interface, just like the camera one, it just wasn't clicking for me. And then I read all these horror stories about rendering and these other ones. And I'm not saying Adobe Premiere is bad, because a lot of people use it. So to each their own, right? But for me, Final Cut Pro, I'm barely starting this business. I only had to pay for it one time, $300, rather than a subscription that's just gonna fail. No, I was fine. You're probably thinking, oh, he's just going to be another guy that's just going to do a bunch of coffee B-roll, etc., etc. No. What I want to do, just like I was mentioning earlier, I feel like I'm in that sweet spot. I feel like I can educate you guys, so the rookies or even some people that have been doing this for a little bit. I feel like I can educate you guys, or kind of just mend that curve, that learning curve about Sony cameras and Sony lenses and what there is to know about each one of those, along with teaching you guys how to edit in Final Cut and how to use it to your best abilities, especially to abilities that I know. And if somebody else that knows a lot more about this is watching and you feel like I haven't said something right, or there's things that I should learn, by all means, I am open-minded about that. So if you've been doing this for a while, why didn't you start a YouTube channel? Well, let me tell you, in 2022, I told myself I'm gonna start a YouTube channel, but I never did. I procrastinated and I told myself I'm gonna do it, but I never really did. I think I was just really nervous to do one. In 2023, I was literally gonna do a YouTube channel back in like January. Then I pushed out to March, but then I got really busy, and my friends would always tell me, well, you've been saying you're gonna start one, but why haven't you started one? Again, procrastination gets the best of you, and you get really busy in this industry, as some of you might know. But here I am, December, starting my first month of year 4. Yay me, pat on the back. So most of you are probably just saying, Alex, just get to the point. What are we going to learn from you? Are you going to be another YouTuber that's just going to influence us and we're just going to buy things from you? No. That's not who I want to be. What I want to do is I actually want to teach you guys what I have learned so far with Sony products and Sony cameras and Sony lenses. I want to teach you how to edit S-Log 3 and Final Cut Pro. Again, for some of you, Adobe Premiere is your thing. That's your thing. But for me, it's Final Cut Pro. I feel like I have learned it pretty damn well in the 2 years that I've been working on it, because I finally was able to get an A7 IV last year, and I got a Sony FX3 this year. And that's not a flex by any means. That's just telling you how hard I have worked so far in these 4 years to get where I am right now. If you guys want to come along for the ride or the journey, here is a list of my platforms right here and all the information that goes with it. And I hope that you guys welcome me as you guys have welcomed others in this community already. With that being said, thanks for tuning in for my first episode, and I hope you're coming in for the next one. Bye, guys.